Well, Veterans Day was celebrated for the first time 100 years ago today on November 11th, 1919. John Liggett had just been born then and later played a part in one of the most famous battles of World War II. I was fortunate enough to spend some time with the 100-year-old Montana veteran. Here's his story as we honor all who've served.
Well, I was born here in Roundup. I guess I've lived here all my life. We lived in a big old two-story house on 519 2nd Street West. That was, well, I was born there. It's just an ordinary town, a small town. I've always liked it here. I expect I'll probably die here, but there's no hurry.
John Liggett has spent nearly all of the 100 years he's lived in Roundup. But in World War II, Liggett was thousands of miles away in the Pacific Theater, where he did his part in one of the most famous battles of the war.
It says on my discharge that I was in ground combat on Iwo Jima. So I was in ground combat, whatever that means.
John says his memory sometimes flies away now at his age, but during the war, he served as a captain of a truck company in the Battle of Iwo Jima.
All we knew at that time, of course, was that we were on Iwo Jima, and we didn't know what we were doing there. Of course, we weren't that high enough in the echelon to know what was going on, but we had good troops, and we had good men in our company. A lot of them didn't come back alive.
An estimated 25,000 Japanese and Americans lost their lives in the 5 weeks of bloody fighting before American troops raised the U.S. flag over the island, captured in one of the most iconic photographs of World War II.
To be on Iwo Jima, I mean, that gives me chills just to think about it, because that was some serious combat there.
John's son David says his father was determined to enlist and defend his country after the Japanese bombed Pearl Harbor.
Initially, he was turned down because of his eyes, and he didn't give up. He kept trying, because he had that drive, that devotion to serve the country. He's always been a very patriotic, somebody that gives back to the community and to the country.
After the war and a brief stint in college, John returned to the place where he was born, raised a family, and was married to his wife nearly 70 years before she passed away. Always a familiar face around town, and someone who his son says has always tried to support other veterans.
I remember as a kid, every year he would go to his Army outfit reunion. His company would have a reunion somewhere. And I also remember many times people that served under him would reach out to him when they needed help in life. And he was always willing to do what he could to help them get through a tough spot. And that's the way he treated everybody, myself especially. I've been so blessed is the word I want. I was blessed with good health and always a lot of good people around.
What are you probably most proud of? Would you look back on your life?
Well, I think I'd probably have to say the service in the military.
Where my heart can go a journey over the shadows and
And a big thank you to John and to all of those who've served.
Yes, thanks so much. A nice story, Russ. Thanks.